Hey everyone, Andy Hall, Big Zebra, and of course the ever incredible Lord of this pit, 420. Good morning, everyone.
Lord of the
Good morning,
Underworld.
sirs.
Lord of the
Hello.
Under. So I got my blood results back this morning. I was pleasantly surprised that I took this blood test yesterday. That's why I didn't do the show, because my calcium levels were high 3 months ago, and the doctor's like, "Hey, it could be a statistical abnormality or cancer. It could be one of those two things." And it's like, oh, why, thank you very much. So I went down to get my blood test yesterday, and I got the results back this morning, automated results back from the lab, which I was pretty impressed with about the turnaround.
So you're
That's
okay.
fast.
So I turn out to be, I'm normal.
Well, that wasn't the result I expected, but okay.
No.
I thought your high
Is that
calcium
literally what he
levels.
said?
No.
Well, I saw the results. It does say normal within the normal range. So that means I'm going to take that as I'm normal. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Do you think that the high calcium levels could have been the result of randomly approaching nursing women and suckling them?
No, no, I do not think that at all. Since I do not randomly approach, I no,
You're sure?
no. Well,
Do
I
you
gave
have
that
that
up.
condition where you wake up in the middle of the night and go and perform weird sex acts that you do not know about the next morning?
Oh,
That
And that
sexomnia?
is a condition.
that well, I think you
I'm
have to.
not
Do you have to
sure if
take some
that's
kind
what
of
it's
weird
called.
medication for that? Is that I don't know.
Yeah, no,
No, you just
that's
have to take
another
a lot of
thing.
breast milk.
There's an antidepressant that causes people to do that, but there is a naturally occurring condition that people have where
Yes.
they've
Woohoo!
had entire affairs for extended periods of time and not ever met the person in their waking life.
So what's the name of that psychological
I
disease?
I thought it
I
was
have to look it
sexomnia.
up.
Sexomnia. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me look that up,
Yeah.
since you will
Well,
obviously need
there
research.
there was an
Hmm.
episode of Breaking Bad called, I think it was called Fugue State. And fugue state was basically this psychological phenomenon which you just kind of like have a psychotic break and you do things and you forget and you don't know what they are. Whether or not fugue states are real, I think that's up for debate. But Walter White in Breaking Bad used that psychological, diagnosis to cover up one of his crazier events that happened in his life.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fugue.
I
So
found.
it's a defense, a
That's
convenient defense mechanism.
very convenient whenever you're in the trouble bubble. Just like I had a psychotic incident. I don't remember anything. That was
Yeah.
me. Tobin says he's trying to sort out um, a tech issue. So yeah, yeah, yeah. The fugue
Thank
state.
you, Big Zebra.
Hi. I found the
It
definition
is
for
sexomnia. I thought you were being funny because it's like insomnia and sex.
No, I
Is
first
that,
learned about it on an episode of House.
well, so is that a legitimate psychiatric diagnosis like the DSM-5? I think
Yes, it
there
is,
are
and,
five.
and apparently the sex is fantastic.
Oh, really? Huh?
No, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that part.
I will say, going back to the medicine issue, once again, people can have some real weird, the outliers, right? They can, outliers can have really odd people who are outliers in terms of their reaction to medication. They can have some pretty intense reactions, manic episodes that make them do all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's why I still say if you're on meds and if you're changing medications, and you need to have a medical accountability buddy, someone to spot you, to keep an eye on you while you're transitioning from one medication to another. The heavier duty the med, the more important. But sometimes there was this, and I told this before, but it's so important. I feel like it's necessary to say it again. There was an episode, I think it was on Fresh Air or one of the NPR shows, one of the National Public Radio shows, about this woman who switched her, I think her antidepressant drugs, and it just made her into a gambling addict. It just turned her into a gambling addict
Wow.
and she lost everything. She lost everything, and then she switched medications, and like a light switch, she was back to normal again. Tobin Templeman, you're in the man. Oh, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Now we have a visual.
The
Boy,
lighting's pretty good. Hi,
Awesome.
Tobin.
excellent.
Yeah.
Do y'all ever have the issue to where, like, whenever you click on the link and then the little icons will be red for mute mic and the camera, and then like you go to the
Yeah.
advanced settings and you can see your camera is there. It recognizes your camera, but it won't put you on, like, it doesn't see it. Like, it doesn't use the camera.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No.
What can cause that is if you've been using other software, if other software has been using your camera and mic. So because I use this Snapcam thing, I will often have issues between the two communicating. And I can go into the settings and see myself and hear myself and everything's working. But on that front screen, they're red and I can't unmute or show my camera. And I just have to shut down and sort of start again.
That's so funny. Okay, all right. I get it now. Because there's some mornings I open up the camera and on the computer, and I use it to like comb my hair. I use it like a mirror, and then I close that out and try to bring this up, and it doesn't work. Because it's okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
So now you know to brush your hair with StreamYard, Tobin.
Mm.
Right.
So that's
Awesome.
wisdom from our tech support 420 atheist right there.
Yeah, way to go, 420. So
Yeah.
you're saying we should turn the computer off and on again?
I do it with absolutely everything.
Yeah.
On this
Yeah.
earth. On, off. Always. Never fails.
Mm.
Except when you try it with people, they don't turn on again. I'm sorry, that was a vaguely inappropriate.
Oh, there are a couple of
Mark-
notable
Mark,
exceptions. Jesus.
Jesus, right.
Basically all of Hinduism.
Yep, that's right. You get to be reincarnated.
Mm.
You know, I mean, if you want the best for a person, and this is going into murky territory, I imagine that you would want to do it while they were on a real upswing, when they're being really virtuous to get all the positive karma. Because let's face it, sometimes in your life, you might hit peak karma, positive karma. You know, all your points, you're really like running the table on getting positive karma. And that's probably the best time to go, because your next life, you'll be elevated.
Well, see, I never understood when people would say things like, "Oh, I'll come back as a rabbit or this or that," and I'm thinking, isn't that backwards?
That is
Like,
backwards.
aren't you supposed to be?
That would be if you were bad, because you could be like, I guess it's the proper. I mean, the way how most Hinduism is, from what I understand of Hinduism, is that it's trans life migration. So you don't have to come back as a person; you can come back as a rabbit, like you said in 420. And that would be considered to be a lower form of life. So if you did something bad, or you got a lot of negative karma points, whatever that means, then you'll come back as a rabbit or something else.
Well, if you live a really good life, a human can come back as a zebra, which is sort of the higher plane of existence, because it's existence with stripes.
Oh, see. Right.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, reincarnation for me was always, it seemed like a sucker's deal, right? Because everyone, and just hear me out for a minute, everyone would be incentivized for running their own lives into the ground and then screw the next person. Because let's face it, reincarnation is like, sure, it's me, but with none of my memories, personality, or me. So it's me, but not me. And I'm like, well, screw that guy, screw that person. You know, I'm gonna just live the life now.
Yeah, man.
That, and so that's why karma and this reincarnation, it actually disincentivizes you from being good.
So you're
Yeah,
advocating
well, it's like,
being bad.
screw it. I'm coming back as a rabbit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if I, come back as a dung beetle, I don't care, because that's somebody else. It's a dung beetle and not me. Like me. Like say that I'm reincarnated from someone else. I don't know who that person was. That's not me. That's some other Joe Schmo from Idaho.
Also, if you do come back as a dung beetle, you want in the life after that to come back as something higher, right? But
Yeah.
what's the difference between a virtuous and an unvirtuous dung beetle? They live exactly the same lives as far as I can see. So where is
how do you then progress from the dung beetle?
I think you don't.
Well, I think, if I was going to guess, because and this is getting into there is the law of the universe. So I would say that dung beetles, and this is how in crazy religion is in general. There are some dung beetles, in terms of dung beetleness. Yes, they can be evil, evil dung beetles, by not following their nature. Right? Maybe they're doing things with the dung that they shouldn't be doing with the dung.
The girlfriend has an amazing point here. If you're a really amazing person, you get to come back as a house cat, which means, nice. Dr. Kennard, Biscuit could be the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln.
It could be. You're right. Biscuit could be. And if Biscuit is, then all the more power to Biscuit.
And could Biscuit get into the Hall of Presidents?
Well, at Disney. Have you ever been to Disney World to see the presidents, the animatronics? It's maybe
as a kid, I thought it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy. It would be better with cats. It would be better if every
president. Sounds like a story. Cat does past life regression. Was Abraham Lincoln?
It does. It does seem to be a bit. You're right.
There was a Canadian prime minister who believed that one of his dogs was the reincarnation of his mother.
I heard that.
That's Mackenzie King, I think it was. William Lyon Mackenzie King. And not the worst prime minister we've ever had either, just a Fruit Loop, though.
A big Fruit Loop. I'm so many questions. Whenever someone says something crazy, right? Yes. Like really something like that, it's like
you wonder if I'm making it up.
No, I have so many questions about it. It's like, is his mom being reincarnated into his dog? Is that a promotion in his view?
I don't know. Maybe he figured it was a reincarnation because, like his mom, he had sex with his dog.
Oh,
wow! Was that just a setup for that joke? Was that just a setup?
No, I didn't make up. I didn't make up the William. I'll put a link in the chat, but I did make up the bit about incest.
It could be the Western. There is another idea of reincarnation wherein the mother has somewhat possessed the dog, as opposed to actually being the dog.
Is that a Hollywood movie?
You know what I mean?
I feel like that should be a Hollywood movie if it isn't one already.
But I imagine that's what he was thinking, more along the lines of his mother's come down and it is in the dog.
All right. If I was going to pitch a movie, because that's what you do when you go to producers, you go to the money people, you pitch a movie, right? It's like, here it comes. Jesus comes back as a dog. Very high concept movie. I don't know what we're going to call that movie, but Jesus, it's the second coming, but Jesus is a dog. I think that would sell. I think backers would. You can take the idea. Anyone, you can take the idea. Jesus as a dog.
Weird. I may have it wrong. He apparently had seances about his mother, but I'm not finding the dog connection.
Well, once you start treating seances seriously, then you can start. That's just a door that opens up to all kinds of. I'm going to use a bold term, tomfoolery. That's what happens. Next, Abraham Lincoln's your cat. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it could lead anywhere.
They could. So, you guys have any big plans for the weekend? I have no big plans. I have negative plans.
I think I'm going to fall asleep.
I think you would think my plan would be to celebrate not having cancer, but my divorce day is coming up on April 1st.
Oh,
and so I might arrange a party or a little celebration, a little Andy celebration for my divorce day.
You could propose a toast. But have a party for the day you met the girlfriend.
That would be nice. That would be better.
Is there did you time that divorce date to land on April 1st?
It was a lucky accident. That's what it was. It was a lucky accident, only because the fact that we had to go back to court because the judge didn't like our separation agreement, our legal paperwork. And so we had to go back, and that happened to land on April Fool's Day. So sometimes you just take the win.
Yeah. You couldn't make that up.
No.
Oh, did you see? I don't know if he has endorsed it, but he should. There is a range of edible gummies that are ear-shaped that are called Mike Tyson's.
Yes, I've seen those.
You seen?
Yeah.
If he's not behind them, he should be.
They have a little section of the ear taken out too, because of the fact, of course, that we know that Mike Tyson did bite the ear off, not the ear off, but a piece of ear from, I think the other boxer was Holmes. I think it was Holmes he was fighting.
Holyfield.
Holyfield. Thank you.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have stopped the fight after the first one.
I didn't realize it was twice.
No, it was two different fights.
Oh,
you're kidding.
He fought Holyfield twice, and he did it to him twice on two different fights. And they've made up since then. There is interviews. Mike Tyson does hot boxing. It's his podcast, and he's had Holyfield on, and they've kind of they've reconciled things. It's a pretty interesting interview.
I've never bothered to look for one, but I've never heard Tyson's explanation.
Yeah, what was the explanation?
If I remember correctly, it was just frustration. He was getting beat. He was things were not going his way.
So it was literally just a
temper tantrum. Yeah.
Wow.
If I recall correctly, yeah.
See, sometimes like in boxing when they get locked up in each other and that. Yeah, it's still, how do you open your mouth and place it over their ear?
Oh, there's intent.
Unless there's intention.
There's intent.
Right.
I don't think it would be difficult because no one, because if there was an intent, there would be a lot more ear biting in boxing, right? There'd be a lot more. There'd be like somehow, sometimes in MMA, right? Someone gets a thumb in the eye just because of the, that's an accident. Yeah. That, there might be intent, but more than likely, someone just got punched and the thumb just gets into someone's eye by mistake. You can say that there's no intent there. However, there's only been, 2 incidences of someone getting their ear bitten, and that was by Mike Tyson. I think it's pretty clear that.
And don't even get me started about in the ring oral sex. I mean, that's just dangerous.
Well, I've seen I've seen that.
What?
I've seen that movie too, by the way.
And talking about accidents that were claimed to be accidents but could not be, and this was a repeat offender. I don't know how to spell it, so good luck, but Google Hopewati, Australian Rugby League player. His last name's Hopewati. And he found himself with his thumb in precarious places of other players.
I see.
And when they complained about it, he tried to claim that it just happened in the tackle and it's like, no, dude.
Yeah.
But he was able to confirm that they did not have prostate cancer.
You know, I feel that that HR should talk to this person and say, look, we have noticed that there's a pattern of behavior here in the workplace, and that your thumb is in other coworkers' buttholes. That's a red card.
Right.
You know,
And you can imagine, like, when it come out and was on the news and that, like the slow-mo replays and the zoom ins and like, is he doing it? And it's like, I really don't need to be watching this over and over.
No, it's pretty clear. Yeah, it's pretty clear that. How do you defend against something like that? How do you defend against something like that?
You know, they maybe should have offered the guy, hey, go play in the American League and be a quarterback, and you get to rest your hands right on a dude's butthole, you know, for a good, 30 seconds or so before the play starts. You can just keep your hand right there, right up against the dude's butthole.
And don't even get me started about in the locker rooms after the game.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Who knows?
I would not want to be in a locker room with that dude. You know?
Red card.
Red card. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's another reason why I like not being in management anymore, is that I don't have to deal with crazy employees and doing things. Yeah, Sammy knows.
I had a disciplinary meeting today, so I'm a little bit broken.
Yeah,
I hate those things.
You know, we should have a show devoted to management stories, because we've probably all got like I have one, so we probably all got, or a coworker story.
Yeah.
That would be a bust to get laughing.
Yeah. It would be. Yeah. Unfortunately, mine happened like 10, 20 years ago. Sammy's like fresh off the fucking right out of the oven. Oh, see, I gotta get myself a yellow card. But yeah, so it's a little fresh, I'm sure. Yeah, those disciplinary meetings, they're never pleasant. They're never.
I swear, I'm probably more nervous than the person that's in there getting disciplined.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Hate them.
Yeah. Once. Yeah. I'm very happy not having to do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think if I was ever offered,
I'm such a big softie that I'm just like, it's all right. Just like, don't tell anyone next time, or hide it better. Like, let's just pretend it didn't happen.
When I had these conversations,
wait till you get home before you masturbate.
When I had these conversations with my kids, it would be like, all right, so there's a couple of things that you did wrong. The first thing is that I'm disappointed with your execution of the task. I just want to say that right now. Whatever you were doing, you did not think anything through. And that is really the biggest hurt for me personally. That's the biggest injury. And two, it's more wrong, whatever you did, Yeah. Yeah. And then there were times that I was supposed to discipline the kid. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you did what you had to do. And I'm gonna wave my finger at you just because the teacher's here and I gotta say those words. But it's like, you know. The one thing that I've discovered is that teachers don't like to and I usually speak highly of teachers, but a lot of teachers just don't want to do the disciplinary stuff. They just don't. They look the other way.
It's not allowed. They aren't allowed to discipline students.
Yeah. Well, just like, hey, stop it. Just saying that, or ignoring a problem. Yeah. Letting the kids handle it themselves. That always brings about trouble, more trouble than it's worth.
Did you see? I think it was like a mini series, whatever they call them. But they got these adults who looked quite young to go back to school, and basically film and see what goes on. And they were in these classrooms, and literally the teacher stood at the board, like writing and talking. And the camera looks around, and the kids are on their phones, they're talking, they're doing whatever they want, and there's 2 or 3 that sit at the front so they can hear the teacher.
Yeah.
And the teacher just ignores everything that goes on.
The problem is,
and I want to be called.
I've sat in parent-teacher meetings, talking myself blue in the face with saying, what you should really do is that you should just structure your effing classrooms as if they were, law school environments in which the teacher you would actually randomly ask students questions, because that's the way you should do it to make sure that you keep people engaged and that you ask them a question. There's a certain amount of social shaming if you don't know the answer or if you're not paying attention. And you have to, and that's what I discovered too, is that, and Sam, coming from a behavioral background, right. Understanding how to, use behavior or to mold behavior. A lot of teachers just don't have that kind of training to how to deal with people.
No. And I think the laws changed fast.
Wait, what was that, Tobin?
And there's so many kids to a class. I don't know, back whenever I was in school, it was something like 30 kids to a teacher. I got overlooked. I was one of those kids that slipped through the cracks. There was times where people did interact with me, of course, but it just wasn't enough to keep me, going.
I've seen 45 as a high point, and I've seen as low as 12.
I missed the numbers.
45 is ridiculous to one
45
teacher.
And
12. That's crazy. Yeah, you can't you can't manage 45 kids, 45 students. It's
well,
not
these
possible.
were in grade 11, and it was a class that was sort of on track. In Canada, you have something called streaming.
Yeah.
So a high school class, especially in the later years, can be geared towards university, college.
All right. So it's like a big lecture. So it's like a lecture class, basically.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't mean in grade 11 the kids are that interested.
Yeah.
And there goes 420.
Yeah.
He just left, just like that. Shane, come back, Shane.
See, you say the devil's name, and he appears. I'm gonna start closing up the show. You guys got any last thoughts? Any comments? Any observations?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I left it all there on the first show. I think that's all I have.
I will say this. Kendra finished up her bass tracks to the last 2 songs.
Oh, okay.
And she did really well. They're really good tracks. I really can't wait to share this stuff with y'all.
Sounds good, man. Looking forward to it.
Great.
Exciting.
Are they going to happen over the weekend, or are you dropping them next week? Or
I'm pretty sure that I'll most likely be able to finish them out over this weekend. They should be coming out early this week, or this weekend. Yeah.
Cool. All right. If nothing else, you'll see me on Monday. Yeah, that's all I got, everyone. Shamla freaking Hamala.
Yeah, Shamala Hamala.
Take care, everyone.
Hamala.
Bye.